All right, this one's called Progress, Not Perfection. There's some controversy in some Christian circles about the AA saying progress, not perfection. But I'm not a fan of wading into those waters. I just wanted to mention it in case you disagree with the saying to encourage you to eat the meat and spit out the bones. That is, take what you can that is good for recovery and is helpful for you, and just leave the rest. That's okay and good to do, I think. For me, progress, not perfection, goes hand in hand with working your program one day at a time. Staying perfectly sober for the rest of my life is way more overwhelming than saying I'm going to stay sober today, regardless of how ugly today gets. I might have one of those days where I have stinking thinking. Let a cuss slip, judge someone harshly, fail to guard my eyes, lingering on an impure thought too long, cut someone off in traffic, you name it. There are any number of character defects that can rear their ugly head at any given time. But just because I wasn't perfect that day doesn't mean I'm going to throw my hands up into the air and say the heck with it and I'm going to run to the liquor store. And that is where the idea of progress, not perfection, is helpful to keep in mind. We're not going to be perfect. To clarify, when we say progress, we're not saying I drank a half a gallon of whiskey yesterday and today I plan on having one shot less than that and tomorrow one less shot. If that's your situation, you need to go to treatment. If you can't stop drinking, go to treatment. Go now. Not drinking, not using drugs, not overeating, not going to the casino, not people pleasing, not doing the thing is not what we're focused on. That's sin focused. We're focused on Jesus. That's grace focused. When we say we're striving for progress, not perfection, what we mean, we understand that we are striving to chase after Jesus more today than we did yesterday. Because the more we chase after Jesus, He perfects us. We don't do that. God transforms us. God transforms us when we chase after Him. Period. Trying not to do the thing is not sustainable. Chasing after Jesus is sustainable because as we do it, He renews our minds and our desires change to be His desires. We're not going to be perfect anyways. There are two kinds of perfectionists. The one that does something and is never satisfied, and the other who knows it won't be perfect, so doesn't even bother doing it. Which one are you? So yeah, progress, not perfection, solves this problem because we aren't focused on perfection. We're focused on being better today than we were yesterday. Again, I'm not talking about drinking less or smoking less or shopping less. I'm talking about behaving better, thinking more rightly, keeping short accounts, apologizing quicker when I mess up, that sort of thing. And because I can't help but to mention it again and again, we simply do that by chasing after a personal relationship with God through Jesus, who transforms us day by day. Glory to glory. Our behaviors come from our thoughts and imagination. First we think it, then we act on that idea. But we want to do in the supernatural and the natural. So besides chasing after God, what are other ways we can renew our minds in the natural? Let me first rattle off some stinking thinking. Black and white thinking. All or nothing, Overgeneralization, which is seeing patterns based on a single event. Example of that. I felt awkward the other day while visiting a friend. I'm always so awkward. Next one, mental filter, which is focusing on the negative. Next one, discounting the positive, which is feeling like your accomplishments don't count. Next one, jumping to conclusions. That one's self-evident. Next one, magnification or catastrophizing, which means exaggerating the importance of a problem or assuming the worst possible outcome. Next one, emotional reasoning, which is negative feelings inform your thoughts without facts to support those thoughts. Next one, should statements leads to feelings of guilt or like you've already failed at something. Next one, personalization and blame, taking responsibility for something that is out of your control. That's a long list. No way you're ever going to be perfect. Okay, so let's just one by one go over the list and find ways in the natural to overcome the wrong thinking. We'll start with black and white thinking. The solution here is to practice what is called dialectical thinking. That is recognizing and embracing the coexistence of opposing ideas, emotions, or experiences rather than viewing them so mutually exclusive or as one being right and the other wrong. Here are some examples. A situation can be viewed in more than one way. A problem can be solved in more than one way. Two people can view the same situation in different ways, and both people can be right. You can Google more examples which will strengthen our ability to anticipate, or you can Google more examples of dialectical thinking, which will strengthen your ability to anticipate various possible outcomes to a dilemma, appreciate other people's points of view, refrain from impulsive words and behaviors, make a reasoned decisions, having weighed the associated pros and cons. This is huge for me. I'm going to be Googling more about dialectical thinking right away. Next is overgeneralization. Leads you to view things more negatively than they really are. It's your mind convincing you to believe negative things about yourself and your world that are not necessarily true. Yuck. First, identify that you do it. It's using words like always, never, everything, and nothing. We want to implement cognitive restructuring, which helps reinterpret negative life events. The essence of cognitive restructuring is to make a conscious attempt to identify and adopt a more balanced perspective in response to negative distortions. Fun! Okay, here's an example. If one of your relationships ended poorly, you may assume they will all end poorly. Restructuring this distortion may look like this. Considering that the facts from one situation don't necessarily apply to others, even if the circumstances seem related. Asking yourself if the situations are truly the same to gain more insight into the nature of their differences. Journaling here would be helpful. Write down examples you have overgeneralized and ask yourself those questions and answer them in your journal. Psychology is fun. This is all for me, guys. This is what the Lord apparently wants me to work on right now. As some of you may know, I put the practice talks on YouTube channel Crown of Life Recovery. That's what I'm doing right now. That's the channel you're looking at right now. This one, I will list all of the Psych Central resources I used in this talk in the video's description. Next, one is mental filter or negative thinking. Step 1. Consider writing down the most prominent thoughts you have throughout the day. When you do, don't expand on the thought. Instead, try to write it down exactly how it popped into your head. Step 2. Try to link the thought to a place or situation. Answer these questions. When and where did you have the negative thought for the first time? How many times did you think about it after that? Do you tend to have comparable thoughts in similar situations? Step 3. Once you have the thought and the situation, identify the emotion it causes you. Step 4. After a while, or by the end of each week, try to group these thoughts by theme, so all thoughts about always or never go together. For example, I always miss important meetings. I never say smart things, or nobody appreciates me. This exercise will help you identify which thoughts repeat and which cause you greater distress. Now try to change roles. How would you react to someone saying these negative things to a person you love? That one really hit me. Like if I said some of the things, if somebody were to say some of the things I say to myself to somebody that I love, I'd be mad. Or if somebody else said those thoughts to me, those are fighting words. Okay. Next, examine the evidence. Negative thought patterns aren't typically based on facts. Similar to changing roles, examining the evidence is looking for cues in the situation that contradict your negative thoughts. If you notice some of your thoughts are about criticizing or belittling yourself, for example, turn to the evidence. List all the ways you're productive, successful, efficient, loving, or supportive. I'll do one more. Catastrophizing. You can take steps to prevent catastrophizing from spiraling out of control. Here are a couple steps. Journaling and reflecting on your thoughts and feelings. Practicing positive self-talk to remind yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way. Stress management and relaxation techniques may help break the cycle of catastrophizing. Some ideas to try to include: identify potential triggers of stress and recognize them. Sometimes just being aware of stressors can help you have a plan for coping. Make time for yourself and your needs. Taking a few minutes each day to do something for yourself, like taking a walk, or reading a book, can help you relax. 3. Exercise. Moving your body triggers feel good hormones and decreases stress. Spend time outside. Going outside and spending time in a green space can reduce stress. Here's the 5th and last one. Get enough sleep. Not sleeping enough can worsen stress and symptoms of mental health conditions like depression or anxiety. That's it. Check out those resources in the YouTube video description below. Progress, not perfection.